As we conclude Book 4 of Virgil's Aeneid at line 642, we see Dido now responding to the fact that she has seen Aeneas departing with his fleet, and these are her final actions. So the passage begins with Dido being described now as Trepida and Ephera. So these are both describing Dido. Ephera here, wild or savage. Of all of the various pieces that we have had Dido described by, we can add this to the vocabulary. Moving on then, Woolwain's also present participle describing Dido. She is Woolwainsing her sanguineam acem, her bloodshot eyes. And all of this, one more piece back here to Ephera, coitis e manibus. Okay, she is trembling with regard to all of these things which have been begun. Okay, in the next clause, this is a little bit tricky in terms of where to put the maculis. Okay, so let's see if we can help you through that. The trementis is a trementes, like there. So she, again, here is the nominative. Interfusa, she has poured her cheeks with regard to, or with the result that it is with maculis. That's how to best put that together. Okay, and they are her trementes gainas as well. And she is now pallida morta futura. This is a certainty, it will happen, and it's just a dreadfully sad scene. Okay, so that's describing what she's looking like right now, considering this reality. Next, she moves on, and she bursts into the interiora limina. Okay, and so this is the place where she had requested that Anna build this pyre to proceed with this particular ritual of burning the hero's belongings. So she goes there, and she climbs upon the altos rogos. Now again, she is furibunda. Effera here, furibunda here. Okay. Now, she recluded. And there's several definitions for this particular verb. The one that you want is to draw, as in to draw a sword. Okay. Now, the way this sword is described is quite specific and unique. It's an ensem dardanium, and it was a munus, a gift, and it was a quaesitum gift, the verb quaerere, to seek out, to search for. So it was a gift searched out for, non hos in usus. The way it's about to be used is not what it was intended for at the time of its request and its being given. Do remember that. Okay, so here, next, after she's looked at the Iliacas Vestes and the Notum Cubile, having moratad Paulum, probably with time for this, and your book gives you an interpretation of that, suggesting that it's a hendiadys. You could perhaps take it as in tearful reflection, okay, with tears in her mind, and with her mind in such a framework. She reclines upon the dative object. In Kuwait takes a dative. And lastly, she speaks novissima verba, newest words. Okay. So now into Dido's speech. She addresses all of these possessions. Dulces exuiae. And here's the condition under which they were dulces. Does that sound at all familiar? While the fates permit? Perhaps consider some of the early speeches of Aeneas. Then we have an imperative, accipite. Ganimam, and exaluete me from his curis. The tense of this verb weeksy is very striking. The perfect tense is used to express completed action. When you use this particular verb to live in the perfect tense, what you are expressing rather euphemistically is the fact that the act of living has concluded. And this is precisely what Dido says. Okay? So, weeksy. And on this particular relative clause, then, cursum is the antecedent of quem, and the bits there in parentheses are how you should construe the rest of that particular relative clause. So she says that she has finished a course, and now she, as a magna imago, will go subteras. It's a magna imago of me. So this is the genitive of the pronoun ego. This is the bit where here in 655, if we contrast this with what Aeneas is still searching for, certainly, as you recall from his speech, he said, I will never deny the things that you have mentioned, Elissa, and here are a few of them. She says, I have established urbem praeclaram. I have seen mea moenia. Imagine an est there, please. I have avenged, and virum here means husband. Okay, having avenged, or I've avenged my husband, and she has also received poinas from her inimico fratre. She's lived a lot. Felix. Honimium Felix. Perhaps too lucky. If only. Si tantum. If only the littora, our nostra littora, if only the Dardanian carinae, the keels, meaning the ships, had never tegissent littera nostra. She speaks. Now, the next two words, I particularly want to make sure, or the following two words, that you absolutely understand what those are in terms of person, number, voice, tense, and mood. Parse each of those verbs carefully before you proceed with a translation. On this presentation, I shall say no more, and expect that in class you're ready to discuss those. She carries on then. Seek, seek. Iuat ira subumbras. Okay. She is ready to die at this point. The question here remains, pay attention to the moods of the verbs that are used here, the highlighted ones, and additionally this one and this one. And make sure you're ready to have a comment or two about those as well. Okay? Dixerat. We've seen the Dixerat before as that nice formal speech ender and transition. And at this point, she's finished her speech, but watch how brilliantly the next action is narrated. It's narrated not even with an actual verb, but watch this. Aspiciunt comites. That's the subject verb there. Illam is Dido. Illa conlapsam. Media intertalia. She is conlapsamed upon the ferro. Ferro, of course, ferrum means iron, and in this context it has a different meaning. That's the meaning you need to go with. It's through a participle that Virgil expresses the final action here, which Dido has taken. Okay? Here's the image. It's a grisly image. Let's make sure we understand what that says. And sem cruore spumantem, present participle. Okay? So the comrades, they see her, they see the sword described in such a way, and they see her manus having been sparsazed, by the same cruore. Sure you understand the meaning of cruore. Grisly, chilling scene. It clamor. There's your subject verb. Ad alta atria. And look who's back. Fama. And she's back through the city having been shaken. And again, what's the verb that gets used and what has been discussed in class regarding the significance of anything having to do with the Bacchic rites? Lastly, what you see here then is the personification of the houses in Carthage. It's not just the women within the house, it's the houses themselves that are reacting in such a way to the message that Fama now brings. Again, very chilling. And this particular passage ends with a simile, non aliter quam. The level of the discord and the rage and the weeping and the shrieking is not other than if Carthago or Antiqua Troios. Here's your verb. And imisis osibus omnes all go together. Must those things happen. And furentes flammae, they should will wantur the culmina perquo hominum perque deorum. Complete destruction of the city. This is the sound of Carthage at the loss of their queen, not unlike how Troy or Carthage would sound should they become invaded. Powerful scene. This is almost the end of book 4. We will see Dido in her final breaths in an upcoming assignment.